I want to share with you something that happened today. And that was I was attending a seminar, that is normally on in person, but because of COVID, of course. Good evening, Bill from Newfoundland. This is the Ottawa Conference on Security and Defense. It's an annual conference arranged by the Canadian Defense Association, or CDA. They normally get close to 1,000 people in attendance. I believe there was over 1,000 signed up for this thing, and they had a bunch of sessions today, by which I attended a few of them. And let me just read to you the names of some of the panels that are part of this year's conference, and you tell me what's missing. So the first panel, after the introductions, yada, 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 threats and challenges to Canada and strategies for resiliency and coordination with like-minded nations. And the speakers were two deputy ministers from Canada. Second panel was on space. Congested, contested, competitive, the new space context. Then a bunch of keynotes from some senior people. And then a session which is actually going on right now because of the time difference. It's called Prosperity and Security in the Indo-Pacific, engaging the Quad and framing a Canadian approach to this issue. Tomorrow is on geopolitics and artificial intelligence. Tomorrow as well is fighting right-wing extremism in Canada. Then there's a panel on gender and operational culture in the Canadian Armed Forces, one on NATO and UK-Canada cooperation, and then the final one is on the Arctic. So this is a conference, as I said, that brings together some pretty senior people from around the world to talk about threats that the Defense Department and armies have to worry about. And the only session on terrorism talks about right-wing extremism in Canada, which, by the way, is not a priority for the Department of National Defense because they don't really have a domestic mandate. I mean, right-wing extremism will be covered by CSIS, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, where I used to work, and or the RCMP. And Realpolitik, and JB, you caught it, there's not a single panel on jihadis. Despite the fact that, as I've been showing for the past, 25 years now, 20 years maybe, this is the single greatest threat to the planet. And if Canadian forces are going to deploy abroad, as they have traditionally in Afghanistan, where you were, Bill, or in Somalia, they were there in the 90s, or currently, or until recently in the Sahel, so that part of Africa kind of just south of the Sahara Desert, every single threat the Canadian military is facing outside of our country, without exception, in 2021, has to do with Islamist terrorism. And yet this annual Canadian Defense Association conference saw fit, or rather didn't see fit, to include a single panel, a single speaker on Islamist terrorism. We've been led to believe, as of, March, almost mid-March in 2021, that the number one and only threat when it comes to terrorism is the far right, i.e. the jihadis don't matter anymore. For those who are just joining us, I'm Phil Gurski, president of Borealis, former Canadian Security Intelligence Officer. If it's your first time, welcome. I'd love to see you guys subscribe and like it on YouTube. It'd be great. Take care, and thanks again for showing up.